Well, good morning and welcome to the weekend edition of the Morning Flight. It's a rainy day here. Of course, it's the season and we should get used to the rain. Welcome. My name is Ike Jiwe. I'm not alone. So much to talk about today. I've got the delectable Jennifer Pius. At least today she's with me. Jennifer, good morning.
I'm not in Ikot today.
No, you're not in Yaike. You're here.
And you're blending with the backdrop. You look really
wonderful.
There's
something, I don't want to be a chameleon today. I just want to blend with the colors.
Okay, well, I'm taking it to Ghana.
Yeah, with the yellow touch.
Yes, please.
Yeah,
And it's wonderful to be back in the studio to talk about issues of concern, national matters, burning issues that, of course, we need to address on Morning Express, of course, the weekend edition. And today, we'll be looking at what the papers are talking about first. What are the big stories? I'm already seeing some coalition headlines across papers and some Shettima stories.
We should get used to politics now before 2027.
Before 2027.
If you're not going to hear about APC, you hear about ADC. If you don't hear about ADC, you hear about PDP.
General
if you don't hear about PDP, you hear a
and
Labour Party. So let's get used to it. Let's get used to it.
Politics is everywhere. In fact, some internal party wranglings. You don't want to miss that. And I don't know how you feel, but there are so many shocking confessions and revelations in the newspapers. But first, we would look at First News. And it's an issue, when it came up, so many persons had different says on that. And we'll first head to First News. First News comes up with a shocking confession. First News says, shocking confession. Aso Rock rat story was a lie. This is attributed to Garba Shehu. Says, tale fabricated to hide truth about Buhari. Wow.
Big question. I'll be the first person to ask a question because I recall then, by the way, our reviewer is already in. Let's get to introduce him. I'm sure he's going to say something.
Yeah.
Our reviewer this morning is a journalist, an editor, Mr. Paulinus Nta. Great to have you.
Good morning.
Welcome.
Welcome.
Good morning.
As I was saying, I'm the first to ask the question. Because I remember vividly then we were told that rats had chased the president out of
Indeed.
of office. But it's good. It's good to hear these confessions. It's good to hear them. Mr. Paulinus, the rat story. I'm sure you heard it.
Yeah. I heard. Well, initially that time it was like a tale, tale by moonlight.
We were wondering.
Yeah, and I think it was within that season we also had snakes swallow up money.
Yeah, it was more of a
It was an animal season.
Yeah.
More of a tale by moonlight story, like that kind of thing, than reality. But some of us believe it was something beyond rats. How would rats get access to such
a very high profile
sacred
place?
I call it a sacred place. It's sacred, supposed to be sacred, Even as little as we are at this level, so to say, we don't have rats in our houses. How come?
We won't permit it.
We won't permit it.
We won't let it.
How come a sacred place like Presidency? So except it was something beyond rats, or we can call it rat race. There's a song we used to hear there in the 80s, rat race.
But it feels really good to hear that it was all a lie. Because the question is, who brought that story out?
Where did it come from?
And everyone got into it. Everyone was wondering. Rats had chased the president then out of office until they needed to do serious fumigation.
But it also brings us to some other aspect. What are the lies were we told now? Because we were getting to hear that the rat story after President Muhammadu Buhari has completed his tenure. We're now hearing that the rat story was a lie. What are the stories then? Because people will now begin to look at it that there were some other lies. If this one was a lie, there were some other lies.
Yeah. Let's look at it from the perspective of journalism as a profession. One of the elements of news story is prominence. If someone sees a rat in my house, it will not make meaningful news.
Yeah.
It's expected.
Just a common journalist, rat it's a normal thing now. But if you see a rat in the president's house, very big news. Just like if a dog bites a man, it's no news. If a man
but the man bites a dog, it's a big news.
That's the news. So maybe even if there was, someone could pass through and see a little rat running around the gutters and by the way. Oh, that's a story. I saw a rat at Aso Rock. I was passing by.
Okay.
I would not say I was passing by the gutter. I saw a rat by the Aso Rock. That alone is the news. Yeah. Maybe that's what circulated the story and credited it and made it a big story.
Oh,
in my view.
Well, let's also look at some other issues still on First News. First News this time around is refinery trouble. I don't know why. Like, it seems today there's so much to talk about. Refinery trouble on First News. Just beneath the big headline there, it says there refinery trouble. NNPC moves sales after $18 billion losses. NNPC moves sales. So there's a plan to make sales, and we're also talking about losses. It also captured on This Day newspaper. This Day newspaper also captures that. It says here, NNPC hints at selling Nigeria's refineries, says rehabilitation becoming complex. And we know the journey of rehabilitation. It's not today's story.
TAM is where I'd like to begin from, Mr. Paulinus. There was a period we heard of the TAM story.
Yeah.
I'm sure you know the TAM, turnaround maintenance.
Yeah.
And there was a period where suggestions were made to sell off these refineries, perhaps concession them out to companies that are willing to take care of them. If we're hearing that it's becoming too difficult to keep them going and that selling them off is the only option, how do you feel about this kind of option when we've heard it before?
Well, I have to be blunt. It's a personal opinion. It's my opinion. I think it's summary. If I want to summarize it, it's a shame. It's a blow. It's a kick in the face of Nigeria as a nation. Nigeria is one of the largest producers of oil. The oil, the crude, or whatever form of oil is what sustains Nigeria's economy. The government runs its governance, or the governance is run from the proceeds of the oil. Yet, we have issues in maintaining the refineries, issues in refining the oil, issues starting from the cost of oil, cost of fuel, starting from that angle. You see, the government is not serious about the economy of Nigeria.
What makes you think so?
What
makes you think so?
Yes.
Is it in the hands of the government or the operators of these institutions?
Who are the operators? Are they not working under regulations?
I'm sure you're aware.
I'm
sure you're aware of the probe. You know, the Senate currently is probing the NNPC, especially on that unaccounted for over 200 trillion.
Fine. Nigerians are not interested in probes. Nigerians are interested in the result of probes. We have had probes from time immemorial. Probe upon probes. We are not interested in probe. We are interested in the results, the transparency, the accountability. We are looking for results, not the process. So I think the Nigerian economy, the Nigerian government is not serious about. There's something wrong somewhere. Yes, if I am a farmer, I sustain my family from farming. I pay my children's school fees from farming. I eat from my farm, and I cannot solve the problems that affect my farm. Then something is wrong.
What do you think, in your opinion, sorry Jennifer,
okay,
is the problem, and how can it be tackled frontally? Because
it's corruption. It's corruption.
This refinery issue has been on. We were very happy when the news greeted us that after a very long time, the Port Harcourt refinery, the Warri refinery was, back on stream. Nigerians were excited. Once upon a time, we had an administration that promised us that they were going to fix this thing. They never did. And then you have an administration coming on board. Before you know it, less than, I think, 2 years thereabout, we had these refineries, and we were told that the refineries are working. But now we are hearing stories upon stories. Don't you think we should be looking at the institution, in this case,
in fact, the
NNPCL?
stories are coming after the reshuffling or rejigging of the
new management.
In fact, a few weeks ago, the communications person for NNPC had also resigned. Then we get more stories. Don't you think it is an issue of the institution?
Yeah, you see, there's a proverb in my place that says that when the belly ache defies the tail of a rabbit, this small, the one to eat, the eatable rabbit, not the one in the house, the one in the bush. In our language we call it this rabbit. The tail is a very serious medicine for stomach ache. So they say that even when the stomach ache defies that, it means something from the family is within the issue. Now, if the management of the NNPC. Excuse me. Recently, okay, let's start from the probe side angle. Now, let me finish on my problem. When the belly ache defies the tail of a rabbit, something inside source is concerned. Now, if by this time probes are made, inquiries were set up, and nothing is done, we believe, I mean, of course, I'm entitled to my opinion, that there are some top shots, there are some sacred cows who are feasting from this crisis, who are feasting from the ailment of the refineries. There are people who are gaining from the lopsidedness, the unworkability of our refineries. People are importing fuel. People are gaining from the importation of fuel. So it's clear, it's very clear. It's the general thing around it is corruption.
Let me put this one straight to you, and I'll be very happy if you can give me a very straight answer. We've often heard people say government doesn't exactly do well in managing business. You think the refinery, just like we had the power sector privatized, should be perhaps given to private interests to come and manage or sold off? You think that will perhaps put to rest all this recurrent issue of the refinery working today, not working tomorrow?
It must have some political coloration. When you say they should give it to private hands, who would make the giving? Who are going to be that private hands? What is the relationship between the person that is giving and the person that is taking?
Well, I'm sure there are other international or companies who might be interested.
Yes,
who might be interested to come in and turn things around and maintain the refineries. So probably just government hands off.
Okay. You talk about privatization. Privatization, I think, started about 2000 during Obasanjo regime, something like that. Now, can you, in all honesty, say that the process, which was necessitated by falling standard of public services, falling utilities and all of that, they say, okay, fine, let's give it to private hands. Let them have the sense of belonging. Let them be committed. Let them manage it for efficiency and effectiveness. Can you, in all honesty, say that, for instance, the NITEL, the NEPA, which we all privatized, are they functional? Are they better than before?
Well, the telecom sector is doing well.
Okay, of course, I would say that. I will not condemn that.
It's a result of privatization.
Yes, that's the only one that has some, at least you can grade them reasonably. Others have failed Nigerians. Others have failed, woefully, from fry pan to fire.
And what do you think is the problem?
Corruption. Nothing more than corruption, my dear. Corruption. The government knows what to do. They know what to do and how to do, and they have the capacity, the wherewithal to do this. But somebody is benefiting from the rubs.
Okay.
It's my opinion, personal opinion.
All right. Let's still look at what this day is talking about in some other issues. This time around, it's about the presidency. It says here, presidency, Shettima not fighting Tinubu over Fubara suspension. It comes with the riders, says president acted in good faith by suspending Rivers governor. ADC asked Tinubu to recall Fubara. Shettima departs Abuja for Sao Tome today. Well, we still have that captured in other newspapers. I think it's spread across newspapers. On Saturday Tribune says here, VP Shettima warns detractors. Stop fabricating conflict between me and Tinubu, says comment on Jonathan, not an indictment of president. Your recount is political correctness, ADC says that. So many other papers still talking about this particular issue. And on Saturday Times, the Saturday Times says here, ADC to Shettima, stand by your words. Tinubu has no power to remove Fubara.
I'd like to take a shot. If you will allow me, I'd like to take a shot. When the vice president made this statement, many latched on it. Of course, you know that the opposition will latch on that, that statement, because there are many who believe, and they have criticized the move by the president, especially the declaration of a state of emergency, which saw the suspension, which many have said the president acted in good faith, because, I mean, if the State House of Assembly had, impeached the governor, maybe we won't be talking what we're talking now. But the vice president was on an occasion, and he used himself as an example and said he was the most vilified. While he was in office, I recall he said, I think it was one of the House of Assembly members or the Speaker then, that told the President that he had no powers to remove him. He didn't exactly state. He just used himself as an analogy. He didn't come out to say that the action of the President with regards to what happened in River State and the declaration of a state of emergency there was illegal. But using himself as an analogy and saying that, I think the Speaker then, or one of the members, I need to get my facts right, told the President that he had no powers to remove him. Is he indirectly saying that the President was wrong? Or are we beginning to see a crack in the wall between the President and his vice?
Well, we may not necessarily conceptualize it as a crack. Politically, it may not really be a crack. It could be, it's all about interest. Politics is about interest. Bargaining, maneuvering.
But the interest in this case, he's a part of government.
He is.
Yeah,
he is.
His interest should be to protect the interests of the administration.
Some analysts believe there is a Cold War raging somewhere. A very cold but strong war raging, somewhere in the presidency. Some people believe that. You cannot authenticate it because there is no, if you ask him, he will say no. If you ask the two parties, will say there is none like that. But sometimes some statements are predicated upon certain situations and environments, and of course perspectives. The perspective you find yourself, the emotion you find yourself when you make a certain statement might not be the same emotion that will be expressed by the person that is communicating what you said, perhaps to the public. So if you go back to, in communication, there is what we call connotation and denotation. What does it connote? What is he trying to say? Obviously, because people have communications experts, they've looked at this and that there have been whispers in the corridor about before the former chairman of the APC, that's Abdullahi Ganduje, former governor of Kano State, left. There had been whispers in the corridor of a possible, though as you said, not authenticated, a possible replacement of the vice president, especially with the fact that we're hearing that Kwankwaso may soon be joining the party. I would like to play a couple of scenarios here. The deputy president of the Senate, Jibrin Barrow, at some time featured in the picture, and he had said, look, if the president wants him to be his vice, and he will. Whatever the president wants him to do, he will. And then we've heard strong rumors suggesting that Kwankwaso may come in and may just be the next. You don't suppose all of this, plus what happened in Yobe State? Can you remember? There was an endorsement of the president. He wasn't captured there. That led to a small fracas. And that was settled by the Yobe State Governor Buni, to bring the situation. So why am I putting all the scenarios together? If you put the pieces of the puzzle together, it will suggest, still, there's a problem between the president and his vice, even if no one is talking. Yeah, you see, politics is made up of legit controversies, bargains, betrayals, wars like that are legitimate components of the political system. From this analysis, from the pieces of this puzzle, like you have said, it appears there is a crack. We are not saying there is. We don't know. But from the pieces of the puzzle, it appears visibly. It appears visibly, especially the incidents of Yobe State, where he wasn't captured in the endorsement, and statements from, it's possible. But the beautiful thing would be the capacity of the presidency to manage this crack and sell the boats peacefully to where it is expected to birth. You understand? Then, if there is need for replacement, a replacement is made smoothly without the boat capsizing in the
If
sea.
there is a need,
If there is,
If there is,
If
can
there
I
is.
ask you, before
Yes.
Jennifer takes us through
Yeah.
the next paper, there are many people who believe that the vice president has been loyal. He's been forthright. He's been serving
loyalty
the commitment.
is relative.
Now,
Loyalty.
hold on. Do you think that there is need, from what you see, what you observed, for this vice to be replaced?
As a person, I don't think there is need. But when you say replacement in such a position, it's about the political convenience of the principal, not necessarily for Nigerians. Because the vice president is not the president. It's like if I'm not there, act for me. You understand? So you are responsible. You are more accountable
to the president
than to Nigerians. You only serve Nigerians when the president is not there. So me as a person, I don't have any reasons to seek his replacement. I don't have any reason. He's not really doing anything directly to me as a president or to Nigerians as people directly. It is only when the president is not there, fine, he could be sent upon. But of course, I think since he assumed office as the vice president, there is no physical confrontation. There is no noticeable fraction, noticeable friction and controversies that could attract attention.
But we're beginning to have those.
Those ones are internal. Those ones are internal.
Okay.
Those ones are internal relationship, sort of a kind of relationship. You don't know what is really.
But the truth is, many analysts are reading between the lines. That statement.
Stop fabricating conflict.
That statement, using himself as an analogy, telling the president then that he had no power to remove a sitting governor, telling that story this period, many would suggest that he's probably saying something without opening his mouth.
Well, constitutionally, that's correct, but as a part of the government, he is not supposed, so to say, to be heard.
The timing of the
and
statement,
the timing too,
which the opposition is latching on.
Yeah, but if you go by the constitutional provision, it's not legal, But by the circumstances that surrounding,
it became necessary.
Yeah, the situation, it became necessary at that point. So it's dicey. That situation is a very dicey one.
Jennifer.
Okay. Well, we'll still stick with the Saturday Times. The Saturday Times talks about local government autonomy. And it says here, LG autonomy, 4.5 trillion naira funds still diverted 1 year after Supreme Court ruling. This is attributed to Adeyanju. And we also have that captured on some other papers, still talking about the local government autonomy. We see here on First News. First News, just beneath the refinery trouble, says here, Tinubu committed to local government autonomy. This is a response from the Minister of Information. We're looking at the issue of local government autonomy, implementation of the Supreme Court ruling. So many states are still defaulting, and so many counter accusations here and there, the federal government, the state government. Who is really at fault here? Who is still obstructing the implementation of the Supreme Court ruling?
I think, though I do not have the complete details of that story, but the problem of the local government autonomy, it was the governors that were fingered. State governors were fingered, in that saga. But for now, I don't have the details. If you want to ask me who is to be blamed in the non-functionality of the autonomy of the local government, it's the state governors that did not allow them. Did not, because of course they seem.
But
don't you
think there's a lacuna, which I've listened to lawyers and some other persons say, that there's a lacuna in the Constitution, especially the issue of joint account.
Okay.
That issue in itself.
Fiscal federalism, it has to do with the federalism.
Yes, that issue in itself might be perhaps one of the hindrances to the successful implementation of this local government autonomy. Bear in mind that the CBN had told the 774 local government chairmen and their council to come and open an account with the CBN. They stalled for a very long time. We don't know how that one panned out. We once heard about what Chukwuma Soludo is doing in Anambra State, especially, which will be anti-local government autonomy. We have also heard of what some state governors are doing with regards to how they dispense funds to the local government areas and how that can bring about development.
But
don't you think that these governors are probably latching on that lacuna to continue to impede the autonomy of the local government areas?
I'd even like to add to that, because apart from the state governors, the local government chairmen themselves are not complaining. They're not making outright rejection of activities by state governors. So it perhaps looks like they're comfortable with the situation.
Yeah, well, some of them, you know, some local government chairmen, and in some states, of course, you know that they were simply planted by these governors. Most of them were planted.
Allegedly.
Like seeds.
Because there was a local government election.
Allegedly delegated to be there by the governors. So whatever, they must have sworn some physical oaths or whatever, some understandable oaths. It's not all oaths that are fetish. It may not necessarily be fetish. It could be gentleman oath of loyalty. That's why I said loyalty is relative. That is the loyalty now. So you don't have to bite the finger that fed you. That's loyalty. Now I'm talking about that lacuna you talked about.
Yeah.
You see,
the issue of joint account.
It's about the federalism. It's about the constitutional contents, provisions in the federalism, where whatever comes from the federal must pass through the states
to get to the local government
you cannot,
area.
By that provision, I'm not so good, I'm not a lawyer anyway, but I know there is. You cannot jump from the federal to the local government directly.
Yeah, but if we have to have autonomy, they're supposed to be getting their funds, just like state governors. I mean, seriously, when we do
But this one
now,
is a matter of urgency. This is a matter of development, a matter of necessity. Because it became necessary because of the decay in the functionality of the local government system. The local government system was created to bring development to the grassroots.
Absolutely.
To fast track the pace of development, to make development even across the country, make it even, and especially by 1976 reforms of the local government system, there was that uniformity. There was a review of the structure of the local government. There was a review in the uniformity, a review in the finance and all of that. So maybe it is the first time it will be implemented properly after the reforms.
Don't you
so
think?
It became necessary.
Don't you think to guarantee, because I mean lawyers and legal experts will say to ensure the effectiveness of this ruling, especially in the implementation of this autonomy, that particular lacuna which the state governors are using as an advantage should be looked into and perhaps expunged so that we can have the local government areas get their monies directly, just like states do, especially when FAC shares the money. The states get theirs, the local government areas get theirs.
I think that's a way out, but it has to be amended from the assemblies, of course. It has to be assembly. It has to be
there was a recent constitution amendment. I thought that someone would have made that presentation.
That is where politics must crawl in. That is where corruption crawls in. Now, who is going to sponsor this bill? Does he have an interest in the state government? What is going to be the state government's reaction to that review? If they hear that such a review is made or will be made, do you think one or two state governors can conceive an idea of stalling the passage of that bill?
If your analogy is anything to go by, that would be very indicting, and that would mean that the state governors do not want the development of the local government areas.
Not because they don't want the local government to be developed, but because they are feasting on, some of them are feasting on this money. Not because they just deliberately refuse or deliberately hate development. Not because they don't like, but because they have to be comfortable, they have to have enough money, sufficient money. They have to have ease. There must be money enough to buy political convenience. There must be money for the next election. There must be available and sufficient money to fly anywhere out to any place. To buy any car you want to buy.
Yeah, but they have enough money from what they get.
Who told you there's enough money?
I mean, this
Money is
administration,
insatiable.
has been very magnanimous.
Remember economics.
No,
Money
hold
is
on.
insatiable.
I know, but this administration has been very magnanimous. If we look at the history of the FAC
That one is true.
allocations,
That one is
FAC
true.
allocations, they've not really gotten it this much. They have
That I
surplus
know.
now. They're
That I
getting
know.
it more.
Even with
they
that
should be
surplus.
content with that.
The governors do have surplus problems.
Surplus problem.
Yes, because there is surplus money.
Okay.
Surplus political issues to settle, to sort. Surplus things to put in place that will need money.
At the expense of the people.
Yeah. What money cannot do, much money will do.
We'll
and
leave
much
that
money
there.
is doing more things now.
We'll leave that
Okay.
there. Jennifer.
All right, Saturday Punch this time around. Saturday Punch, well, the rainy season comes with so many things, and one is the flood. A flood alert on Saturday Punch says here, panic in 20 states as residents vacate high-risk areas. The writer says government allays fears. Residents demand better response plans. Environmentalists fault states over poor flood preparedness. You're talking about surplus problems and surplus money. One issue that has been year in, year out, in fact, since 2012 and then to 2022, we've always had discussions about flood, and some alerts and some ahead warnings.
Devastations.
Collateral
damages.
Here and there.
Deaths.
Here we are having another flood alert, 20 states. But we have monies being allocated to different state governments. Do you think the state governments are doing enough response or preparedness for the floods coming?
If you ask me, I would say they have not.
They've not done enough.
They've done their best, but their best is not good enough. Ask me why. Why? Because, you see, if you have a problem this year, that this place you are living, water always passes you. If you are not careful, one day water will sweep off your house. You are warned. So now, this year, the rain is almost getting off. So by next year, prepare. It could happen again. You are given some money to take care of that. And you take that money, lavish that money, use that money for something else, and believe that next year you pick some money from somewhere else. Or you go to church and pray, God, please don't allow rain to come to my side. That's what's happening to in some states. This money comes in. They don't use it. They use it for political for other things that are necessary at that time. They divert that money because it would not affect where they live. You cannot tell me that the governors of state will live in a place where they could be flooding. It's not possible. This is a colonial hangover.
Colonial
hangover. The colonialists, the colonial masters live in where they call GRA, government. That's where the origin of that mentality. GRA. Why should it be so? Why are you living different from the people? You are representing these people. You are leading these people. You are the government representing them. Why are you living in a separate, decorated, better place?
Mr. Paulinus, allow me to interject you. Funds are usually given to states. We have the ecological funds. We have some other special funds given for interventions. And you have indicted these governors by saying...
Have they not been collecting ecological funds for the past few years? When they are aware that the economy, the geography, the rain, the weather, they are likely to be flooded.
Is it the governors or the people? Because I recall in the flood alerts and the predictions of 2025, as at that time, while I was reviewing the papers on radio, I had read 19 states were captured, including Akwa Ibom, where we are, that they should prepare for the adverse effect of intense climatic activities. That's how the paper puts that. All of this is occasioned by the climate change. Now, warnings are given. The meteorological agency usually gives a prediction, and they capture states that are prone and may most likely be affected by flood. Don't you think we, the people, are responsible for this? Because sometimes information comes out through mediums like the television, you hear it on radio, but the people become lackluster to this information. And as you rightly said, they go to church and get religious about it, hoping that perhaps prayers can avert the flood.
Or let me begin from...
Okay, in what way particularly do you think you think the people contribute to this?
Okay, let me bring that in. Let me begin from Akwa Ibom.
Okay.
2 weeks ago, the Uyo Local Government Development Agency, UCCDA, had gone into streets to demolish structures built on waterways in their statement. And this has been done in different places. And in fact, they have complained a number of times that after destroying these structures, they go back and still find people springing up more structures still on those waterways. You think it's still not the people? And to bring up another, the people who dump things in waterways. You see, sometimes you walk by roads and you see people burning issues on gutters. And you see others dumping, especially when it rains like this, you just see people sweep stuff out and pour them into the gutters. This behavior, isn't that contributing to the issue?
Yeah, I have to agree to that because I've witnessed that. In fact, where I live, there are cases like that. You find long, steep gutters filled up by trash. Long, steep, big gutters. So that is a very serious a component part of the contribution to this. In that aspect, well, I think I will exonerate the government in that aspect because the people have contributed largely to flooding in that way. Go to a back route, go to even a wrong road here, go to 2 lanes, except for recently that they just cleared that big gutter. So the people have always in that way contributed to flooding.
But it means you said in that way. It means you still have areas which you blame the government for. Which areas are you looking at?
Yeah, there are other areas like sincerity of purpose.
Sincerity of purpose?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah, that's ambiguous. Let me explain it. For instance, if I want to build up a government, I'm a governor now, which I think one day I'll be a governor.
Okay.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
If I'm a governor now, I want to appoint commissioners. Political stakeholders, those that made me the governor, will give me a list. Slots. Give me this one commissioner. I gave you, delivered you in my local government. You must give me commissioner. Oh, God, so because of you, I'll give me a name. List of commissioners are for, in most cases, without consideration to merit and qualifications.
Are you saying the people who have managed in this case are ministries that are supposed to cater to these issues have been misfits?
A lot, not all. Not all. You cannot, or some are okay. Some are square pegs in square holes. Some commissioners in some states are fit into where they are.
I was thinking, Mr. Paulinus, that you probably talk about the issue of funding because we have a humanitarian ministry.
No, let me land with this. The
humanitarian ministry usually comes
to
provide relief after
you are talking about relief in secondary.
But I was thinking you probably talk about funds because how much money do we dedicate? How much money do we allot for ministries? In this case, the Emergency Management Agency. When they present their budget, how much do they get? We know that rains will fall. We know that because of the climatic change, weather, climate change, you name it, all of these things, the melting of the ice in the Antarctica,
and even
definitely water levels will rise. But are we preparing? Is the government preparing?
Even long-term plans. We look at issues of urban planning,
rural
planning.
That is the natural aspect. That's the natural part of the issue.
Yeah, but you need to prepare.
Now, the human part of the issue is most of those we appoint into strategic and sensitive positions are not fit in there.
So they're not managing this ministry as well.
Now, for instance, I'm a journalist. If I am appointed as a commissioner for information, my governor goes to an event. Governor makes 1 or 2 statements that I know is not as a professional. I will not make news out of it. I will play down those statements and emphasize some other aspects. As a professional, I know that if I publish this, it will run my governor down because I am a professional. But if maybe an engineer is a commissioner of information, that's something we will not know to that extent. Now, most of those who are commissioners of environment in some states know little or nothing about the environment in aspect of geography, this area of environments. If you take me to be a commissioner of environment, I will perform 0. I will perform
Is
0.
it about states or the government itself? Because I was thinking, like, for example, if we look at what just happened in Texas, we sort of flooding,
That was different.
the
That was
damage and
different.
all of that.
Yeah.
Now, natural disasters will occur. Water levels will rise. Rain will fall. You cannot stop that.
We
These
are
things
too
are
lucky we
seasonal.
don't have these things.
No, we do have them.
It's not common here.
What about Niger State? Have you forgotten just recently
It's not
Niger State?
common in general.
Well,
not in
that's
Nigeria.
a lot.
Well, but what I'm saying is the government intentional about preparing for natural disasters? That is my question. Because we go to the different COPs, COP 24, COP 9, COP 10, and all of this is supposed to discuss climatic issues. Climate change takes center stage. Are we intentional about the preparation for natural disasters?
You see,
Since we cannot avert it.
it's unfortunate that, excuse me, this part of the world, most political leaders do not possess the kind of spirit of service that leaders in some other clime possess. When you talk about preparedness against natural disasters like that, there are some countries where the government would be very sincere about that, so passionate about it. They commit whatever they have to eat. They don't have an iota of corruption in the process of doing this. But there are some countries, there are some government that they just do it as a part of the normal government rituals. They all go for that, they get the money, they just stand and talk what they don't have in their heart. They're not committed to it. If you give them that money, they divert that money. They will tell you they think very passionately. They will say you will clap your hands for them, you will give them applause. But for instance, go to the areas of security. There are some countries where the police, they are so passionate about their country. A policeman will pass on the way and see you drunk, he can arrest you. You break traffic law, they arrest you without getting money from you. So they are passionate about their work. They love their country. If they are given 20 naira to go and repair this phone, they make sure this phone is repaired at 20 naira. If 1 naira remains, they take it back and keep. It's about political culture. It's about development, the indices of social development.
Well, I'm hopeful that, this conversation will further awaken government,
Response,
subnationals and the national to wake up to what the climate is saying. We cannot avoid natural disasters, but we can pray. We can prepare. We can prepare to mitigate the effect of this climatic occurrences. That'll just be.
And the government has the capacity to do that. The government has the capacity to prepare against that. There is the capacity, financial and otherwise, material. There is the capacity, but the problem is corruption, misplaced priorities.
Okay.
Well, let's look at some political issues on The Nation. The Nation says here, 2027, Southwest PDP rejects Atiku, Obi, El Rufai coalition. The writer says Osun chaired there's 3 senators, 8 representatives to defect. Rains curses on those who leave. It has gotten to this.
Is it causes in politics?
Okay, still on the coalition, it is captured on Saturday Independent. Saturday Independent says coalition, Bode George berates Atiku, Mark Tambuwal, others for joining ADC, insists party won't zone presidential ticket to North. There again, we still have on the coalition captured on The Guardian. The Guardian says here, 2027 elections, hurdles before APC coalition as Nigerians weigh options. We've seen the faces on The Guardian. Yeah,
I like the term weighing of
options.
I like the term. I'd like for you to dig into that term. Weighing of options. This is the case of the devil and the deep blue sea.
So
weighing of options. How would you weigh this option, in your opinion? You think Nigerians are weighing the option? Or as an editor, you think it's just some ingenuity there by that crafter of that headline?
Yeah, it's more of ingenuity. Because the level of poverty in Nigeria don't even allow most Nigerians to weigh options.
But don't you think Nigerians will probably weigh the options? Because people are
A few,
asking.
a few.
People are asking.
Yeah.
I've listened. I've had conversations with people. I do this almost like every day. If I'm doing it on radio, on television, I feel the pulse of the people. A lot of people who are talking are saying, these people who are coming to rescue Nigeria, saying they want to rescue the
rescue
country,
where?
they want to change the narrative.
Rescue Nigeria.
A lot of them have held, at some point in their lives, very important position that they would have made an impact. But nothing changed. That's where the term weighing of options between the devil and the deep blue sea comes in.
Well, in my opinion, I don't think anybody is going to rescue Nigeria.
Why?
The crop of Nigerians that would have the capacity and the spirits and the passion and the desire to rescue Nigeria are not even in political race.
Oh, really?
They're not there. They are not there. I'm being frank. This is a personal opinion. They are not there. They won't even be given the ticket in their party to go. Most are not even political. Those that would have the spirit, the desire, the capacity, the will. You don't think the rescue Nigeria are not in politics?
You don't think? Look at the face. I mean, let's just face the screen now. Look at the face of the people.
Well, I think the level we know is better than the one that they sent that are yet to
Are
come.
you saying that an Atiku cannot rescue Nigeria?
He's been a vice president.
These are all familiar faces.
Let's stay on it. We'll just talk about them individually.
Yeah,
you think
we are weighing
cannot
the options
rescue?
now. We
We're weighing the options. You think Atiku cannot rescue Nigeria?
Well, my dear brother, if you ask me as a person, my personal opinion, I don't see any face that is willing and capable in the right frame of mind to rescue Nigeria.
So if you're going to write off Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, what about Peter Obi? It seems to be gathering a lot of momentum.
Well, Peter Obi,
he has a lot of popular support.
Yeah, Peter Obi as an individual, was seen. Was seen during the 2023 election as a man with a politician with human face. Quotes, he was seen as a man with a lot of business ideas, someone who could inject life into the sector, the business sector, and someone who has little indictment on financial
baggage, perhaps.
Like that was the story then, But I do not see any serious face there that is capable and willing. I'm not saying they are not. They are credible Nigerians. They are credible Nigerians who have served this country in different capacities. Yeah, they have good names. But in this situation where we find ourselves now, I don't think any one of them.
Are you saying, Mr. Paulinus Nta, I'll be very categorical, that the coalition does not have what it takes to, as they say, rescue Nigeria?
Ike, I'm not below 50 years. I have been in politics before I became a journalist. I have witnessed the beginning and the end of different dispensations. I know political leaders who can rescue their state, forget about Nigeria, or local governments. I know the kind of leaders that can rescue. It's about spirits. It's where you come from. Where did you come from? What is your political background? How did you get there? Who is behind your success? What's the intention? Forget about what you tell the people. I don't believe in what they say. In politics, don't believe in what anybody tells you. Believe in what he does. I don't believe in answers. I believe in the questions you ask. I don't believe in the answers you tell me. I'm very skeptical when it comes to politics. So I do not see any, personally, I don't believe in that thing you call coalition.
So if we weigh this option, based on that headline, we would rather, you would say, prefer the devil we know.
I said it earlier.
Than the angel we do not know.
I said it earlier. I prefer to deal with, they say this thing is a native man, it's a native doctor. I will play with him because I know that if I don't offend him, he will not kill me. A native doctor knows where to pour libation and he will keep to that. Than going to meet a pastor whom I don't know where he came from, the power of his church, his intention to form a church. What drives him into church? Who would be a devil in the night?
I see.
And in the day, he's a pastor. So I believe in the devil I can see.
So in this case, Nigerians, weighing the option, would rather prefer that the president continues and complete what he has
If you
started.
ask me, I would prefer, me as a person. I don't know what other Nigerians would think of me as a person. I would prefer. Tinubu is not the best, but at least for now, I would prefer. If you ask me, I would prefer him. Finish up and go. Let's see. I don't bring confusion. Don't bring his political language. Of course, we know these things. I'm a journalist. I studied political communication. You come up with a certain name that would ignite passion, that would set some fire in the heart of listeners. Hey, coalition of bring those names. Which names? What are you going to do now? How old are you in the first place? What miracle, what political miracle are you coming to perform now?
I like that one, Dad. Jennifer,
Political
take us to the next
miracle.
paper.
Okay, we can trust.
Political miracle.
What political miracle are you coming to perform
2027
now?
is going to be very interesting.
Very.
We would like to see
I
political
will not
miracles.
be old. I will still be young too. I will still be
Yeah,
active.
no problem.
No, I'm not a young
Definitely
man.
we'll bring you
I will
again.
still be active.
Jennifer, take us to the next paper.
We can trust, Liz. We can trust says ahead neck. APC dangles chairmanship between North Central and Northwest. We've seen the picture. APC party chairman, the chair, and those dragging it.
Well, names have been featuring. Although I think it was yesterday or on Thursday that the SGF, Senator George Akume, came out to say that he's not interested. We're hearing the name of the former governor of Nasarawa State, Tanko, Umar Al-Makura, and then we are also hearing SGF, George Akume. I think it's dangling between, as we see there, the North Central and the Northwest. North Central, probably we're looking at George Akume, who has said he has no intention. And if he goes to the Northwest, perhaps we want somebody from the CPC block, because we've been hearing that the CPC block has not really been captured. They've not really, they've not really enjoyed anything. And that suggested as though that this president and his former may not exactly be in the best of terms. So if this goes based on what we see in the paper, the names we're hearing, Tanko Al-Makura or George Akume, where do you think the pendulum will most likely swing? Although the SGF has come out to say he's not interested.
He's not
he doesn't
interested.
want it.
But you see, politics goes beyond what you say to the public, to the crowd, your statements. Sometimes your statements can conflict your desire. Sometimes you can deliberately conflict your desire with statements so as to divert attention and allow you get what you want. So that's pure politics. That's not leadership. When you talk about party leadership, pure politics, that has little or nothing to do with administration or leadership. So the president could rightly, there's no justice there anyway. There's no basis for justice in those kind of positions. Wherever you think you can obtain political convenience, the man in charge, the one that will swear his way. There's nothing like George, zoning with justice, fair play. It's not there. Fair play only comes when it favors you. Okay, fine, you talk about fair play. Even when they are zoning, zoning does not go to you. Zoning, you zone something to somebody. You only use the name of his geographical location. Whatever is being zoned, you zone to somebody. There's somebody you want to give. You come and tell the crowd, okay, fine, we have to zone into this part of the world. They've not tested it, blah, 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 because there's somebody you want to give who is from that side. So whoever places the power that be, whoever the convenience.
Mr. Paulinus, don't you think it's going to be a lot of work for whoever is going to fit into the shoes of Abdullahi Ganduje? To his credit, he's been able to carry the APC, and the APC has enjoyed a lot of popular support. Take or live. We've seen a lot of governors. We've seen a lot of governors, come into the fold. We've seen a lot of people come into the fold of the APC. The APC's numbers are swelling under his leadership. Don't you think whoever comes in to fit this bill will have a lot of work to do?
That's true.
Especially now that the coalition seems to be building momentum.
I don't see the coalition as a threat, serious threat to Nigeria, to the APC. I don't see the coalition as a serious threat. I'm not talking as a party man, I'm talking as a journalist too. But I was a party man anyway, so I understand party politics. I am not, take it to the state levels. Forget about the national. National is simply a ceremonial platform. Go to your states. How many of them, who is leading in each of the states? How strong, how powerful, how popular? What is his name? What is his surname in each of the states? From there, it's just It will just be a bandwagon thing. Just play music and.
But you think the APC will get it right? And whoever they give this leadership to, whoever comes in to replace Abdullahi Ganduje, you think the APC will get it right?
They have to look, read between lines. They have to really look before they leap, because even though the ADC, so to say, the coalition rather, is not a serious threat, in my opinion, what I think, but they still have to. They must not underrate. They must not underrate. Because of that, it should be someone that is experienced as Ganduje.
Okay, and if we're looking at, with the multiple defections they've been enjoying, you think perhaps this might also bring in some considerations for those brought in, or will there be some crisis foreseen if this goes south? Or, well, they're talking of north, central, and northwest, but if it goes south,
I think it should be within that north, central, and west. Be on the safe side for them.
Okay. Well, that's it. And thank you very much for coming to review the papers with us. We appreciate your time.
Thank you so much, Mr. Paulinus Nta. Of course, the papers are awash with several interests. Whichever one you want to read, you want to talk politics, the papers have it. You want to talk entertainment, the papers have it. Want to talk sports, the papers have it. Our focus is only on the main issues making the round. When we go for this break, when we return, we'll welcome Jochebed. I was going to say Banga. Jochebed Bashir to bring us up to speed with what's trending. Stay tuned.